Hello and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have here today a ink comparison and I am going to do some orange inks. So I know a number of you have asked for some of these ink comparison videos. Now I'm starting to think that maybe I might do these on a weekly basis. Let me know if you would like to see these, maybe say on a Wednesday. We have a currently inked on a Monday, and at the moment I tend to do pen reviews on a Saturday and occasionally on a Wednesday. So let me know what you would like with regards to these reviews. So I think let's swab these inks up, and these are all orange inks today. So this is the orange comparison, and I'm going to have a couple of these videos because I've got, I believe, around about 18 orange inks, which is actually quite a lot of orange inks, but I do love orange inks. So I think let's start swabbing these inks up. I also have a pen that I will be dipping the nib into to write the ink. So the first ink is this lovely Diamine Blaze Orange, and this is an ink that I really do like a lot. It has originally been one of my favourite orange inks, and I have since actually gravitated towards some other orange inks. Probably see some of those in the next video. They typically are some sailor inks. So let me do an ink swatch here so you can see what this Blaze Orange looks like. So this is Diamine Blaze Orange, and this is actually a really lovely ink. So I'm going to saturate it a little bit there, and maybe round off these edges a little bit, and we'll get some ink pooling going on. So let's do a writing sample. So this is Diamine, and it's Blaze Orange, and this is a really nice orange ink that I have liked a lot in the past. The next ink here is Diamine Autumn Oak, and this is an ink, hence the name Autumn Oak, that I typically like to use more in the autumn. We'll do an ink swatch here, and you can see this is more of an orangey red, but it is actually quite a nice one as well. So you can see here just how hopefully this ink will pool a little bit, and then we'll do a writing sample. So this is Diamine, and it's Autumn Oak, but that also is actually a nice sort of orangey reddish browny kind of ink. It really sort of hits a number of different colours there. And then we have Diamine Coral. Now this is a little bit of a pastel coloured ink, so we'll do an ink swatch, and you can see here that this is quite of a pastel colour. It's a very sort of pastely pale orange. Really is coral, but it is a orangey coloured ink nevertheless. So this is Diamine Coral, but that to me is also a really nice orangey ink. The next ink is Diamine Peach Haze. We'll do another ink swatch here. So I actually bought the two inks, the Diamine Coral and the Peach Haze, at the same time, and I find that, to be honest, that these are fairly similar inks. There isn't a lot between the two. So this is Diamine, and it's Peach Haze. But you can really see here these two coloured inks. I would say probably Diamine Peach Haze is maybe a little bit more orangey or peachy perhaps. The next ink is Herbin Orange Indien. Now this was an ink that I purchased early on when I got into fountain pens, and I love the orange colour of it, but I found that in a lot of nibs, specifically sort of Joro nibs, that this was more of a drier ink. So it's been an ink that I haven't really used much of, and I pretty much have a full bottle of. I think the other problem also is that the D-size bottles are very small as well. So this is Herbin, and it's Orange Indien. But again, it's a nice orangey ink. But there are so many different hues of inks, of oranges, and the problem is, what do you like? Do you like a bright punchy orange? Do you like a dark orange? Do you like a more of a pale orange? And then the reason I think probably also why I don't like these Herbin bottles is, if I show you here, this is my number 8 size nib. So if that bottle is full of ink, I can only just about make it fit in there, and the nib is touching the base of the bottle. So if I actually use up any ink in here, I cannot fill from the bottle. So I think that was, in my early collecting days, that was why I started to gravitate away from the Herbin bottles. But of course I can now fill pens using Penultimate pen fillers and Visconti travelling inkwells, or even ink misers as well. The next ink is KWZ Grapefruit. So we'll do an ink swatch. Now, I, to be honest, have to say and have to admit, I am one that prefers a lighter orange ink. But more lately, I've really been loving this KWZ Grapefruit because of how dark it is. So we'll do a writing sample here. So this is KWZ, and it's grapefruit. But that is actually a nice coloured orange. The next ink is another small bottle, and it's Montblanc Lucky Orange, which is also a lovely orange ink that I bought 3 or 4. Actually, I think I may even bought 5 bottles of at one point. Now, the problem with some orange inks, and this is Montblanc one, is that they can go very, very crusty around the top of that bottle. Just look at that crust. So you do have to be a little bit careful in orange inks drying up in pens. So we'll do an ink swatch. But I think you'll see why I bought so many bottles of this. It is a beautiful orange ink. So we'll do a writing sample here. So this is Montblanc, and it's Lucky Orange. But that is a beautiful orange ink. So if you want a punchy, vibrant orange ink, I would say definitely look at Montblanc Lucky Orange. Now, it's not a cheap ink, but it's not an expensive ink compared to some brands as well. It is a smaller bottle size, but it's a beautiful ink. The next ink is Noodler's Apache Sunset. And I couldn't have an orange ink comparison without Noodler's, because Noodler's Apache Sunset is one of the ones that a lot of people gravitate towards, and mainly because it has a lot of shading. So we'll do an ink swatch here. And again, you can see that this is quite a fiery orange. So I'll try and do a little bit more of a sort of saturation there. And this is Noodler's, and it's Apache Sunset. But that is a beautiful ink, and strangely enough, it's an ink that I bought early on and I just haven't used a lot of. I think because I've hit into a number of Noodler's inks that have stained pens, and I just haven't actually really used many of my Noodler's inks since, unfortunately. And when I say stained pens, it tends to be more the Noodler's Bay State inks that will stain, rather than something like Apache Sunset. So Apache Sunset should actually be a fairly good ink. The next ink is Noodler's Napalm. So with that name, you would actually kind of think it's going to be quite a bright ink. So let's have a look. Yeah, sort of radioactive, sort of orange type. What you might think of if there was a mass radioactive leak or something, or mushroom cloud, and you get the sky that just goes this bright orange. So this is Noodler's Napalm. So I think let's look at these inks in a little bit more detail here. So we have Diamine Blaze Orange, which is actually a really nice sort of bright orange. It's not a punchy orange though, it's more of a light orange. But it does actually have quite a lot of shading there that you can see. There's also Diamine Autumn Oak, which is really more of a orangey brown or browny orange, probably browny orange. If you look at the writing sample there, you'll see that it is still actually orange, but it's more of a browny sort of orangey ink. And then you have Diamine Coral, and Diamine Coral I find is quite a flat sort of pastel colour ink. We have Diamine Peach Haze, which again is another sort of very pastel-y coloured ink. So neither of these two inks really do a lot of shading. Maybe Diamine Coral has some shading here, and Peach Haze really maybe a little bit around here, but there's not a lot going on there. And then we have Herbin Orange Indien. And this does have a lot of shading, and it's a little bit more brighter than the Diamine Blaze oranges, but you'll also see it around the edges here where there was saturation. You get this sort of darkened hue that goes around, almost a little bit like a feathering, but actually makes the ink stand out a little bit more. I do like that Herbin Orange Indien a lot, but I have found in the past in some pens it has been a little bit on the dry side. So if you like a dry ink, maybe try that. You might be pleasantly surprised. Then we have KWZ Grapefruit, and okay, maybe this isn't an orange ink. I always think that it is orange myself. It really is more between an orange and a red ink, I guess, hence being grapefruit. More of a pinkish red or a pinkish orange, but it's an ink that I have been gravitating towards lately, and I really do love writing with a lot. So I thought I would include that onto this list here. And then we have the Montblanc Lucky Orange, and this is a very punchy orange, and for me, I like it. I like it a lot. You do get some shading here on the Lucky Orange. You also get it on the KWZ Grapefruit as well. But that Lucky Orange is actually a really punchy orange ink. So if you want a bright orange ink, definitely look at Montblanc Lucky Orange. Now, Noodler's Apache Sunset is one that has a lot of shading going on there that you can see. That is a huge amount of shading. So this is, if you want an ink that is heavily in shading and you're going to see it when you write, then this is an ink that you should probably look at getting or adding to your collection of inks. And then we have Noodler's Napalm, and when I bought this, I didn't really know what to expect from it. I assumed it would be an orange ink, maybe a little bit more. From the ink swatches, it looked a little bit more darker than Noodler's Apache Sunset, but it's actually come out when it dries. when you saw it was wet, it was a much brighter colour. So it dries again a pastel colour, almost like a coral or a peach, a pinkish orange colour. So it does that. So these are the 9 orange inks I have in comparison today. I'll have another orange inks comparison video soon, where there will be another 9 inks there. Let me know if any of these are your favourites, that you like the look of these, or what orange inks that you like actually in your collection that you have. Leave them in the comments below. So thanks for watching this video. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye bye.